Hey guys, what's up? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my all-time favorite TV shows. I don't know why I haven't done it, to be honest, because I watch TV shows almost as often as I watch movies and read books, and it's like one of my favorite things. So I'm going to be starting with the TV shows that are no longer airing and that are a complete series, and then I'm going to be going into TV shows that are still currently airing, and yeah. Got a lot of these, so let's just jump right into it. And so the first one is the one that I consider to be my favorite TV show of all time, and that is Breaking Bad. Follows this man named Walter White, is a chemistry high school teacher, and he finds out that he has cancer and that it's going to kill him, and he only has so much longer to live. And so he decides that he's gonna start cooking crystal meth in order to get enough money to provide for his family after he's gone. The most amazing badass fictional character I've ever seen in a TV show. I love Walter White. I love Bryan Cranston, the actor who plays him. I love Aaron Paul as Jesse, and everything about this show is absolute perfection. It deserves all the praise and the hype, and it's my favorite TV show of all time. It's fucking great, and it's on Netflix, so you can binge it. You can binge the whole thing. My second TV show is Bates Motel. This TV show is a prequel to the movie Psycho that was like the Alfred Hitchcock film in the 1960s, and this story follows Norman Bates as he's like a teenager in high school, and it's so good. Freddie Highmore as Norman Bates is so perfect for this role, and Vera Farmiga as Norma Bates is like some of her best work I've ever seen from her. I love these two. Their chemistry together is perfect as Norma and Norman Bates, and this show is just so freaking entertaining. Seriously, Vera Farmiga makes this entire show. It's fantastic. The next show I have is Dexter. Follows a serial killer who kills other serial killers, and so this show is really fascinating because I love being inside the head of a serial killer, and he really narrates this entire show, and I kind of find it's just very like darkly funny, very strange and unlike anything I've ever seen before. And a fun fact about this show is that Michael C. Hall actually had cancer while he was filming the show. He got like diagnosed with it while he was filming. And another fun fact about this show is that the girl that plays his sister on this show is a girl that he married. They fell in love and they got married during the show, and they got divorced before the show finished filming. This show is just fantastic. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the last season, but other than that, this show is just so great. It's so addicting, and I love Dexter's character. I really love him. My next one is Friends. Friends is a freaking classic, and if you haven't seen Friends, then like, what are you even doing with your life? Friends is a sitcom, takes place in New York City, and it follows these 6 young 20-something. It's the best, okay? I don't even need to explain it. Friends is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's literally my favorite sitcom show of all time. Another show that's one of my all-time favorites is How I Met Your Mother. Even though I wasn't a fan of the finale, I actually like really fucking hate this finale. I hate the last season actually altogether. And it was something I was really upset about because this show is one of my all-time favorite shows. I love these characters to death. This is another one of those sitcoms that takes place in New York City, and it follows a bunch of 20-somethings. This is a show that introduced me to like Jason Segel and Neil Patrick Harris, and Marshall and Lily are one of my like biggest OTPs of all time. I love them. I love this show. It's so great. Just don't watch the last season, but the rest of it is all great. And the last show that I have to recommend that's off air is Parks and Rec. This is another sitcom. It's kind of different from the other two though, because it's definitely more dry sarcasm kind of humor, and there's no laugh track, so it feels kind of different, but I really love this show. I love Amy Poehler in this role. I swear she was like born to play this role. She's so funny in this. And so now I'm gonna jump into some TV shows that are still currently on air and all still on my favorite TV shows of all time list. And so the first one is Shameless. This is one that I actually just recently got obsessed with. Like, I just started watching this probably last summer, and I just like binged the whole thing in the past few months, and I'm so in love with it. I haven't started season 8 yet. Follows this family, the Gallaghers, in Chicago. They don't have a strong support system from their parents, so they pretty much rely entirely on Fiona, their oldest sister, to take care of them, and it's a pretty big family. Like, there's a lot of kids. So it just follows like the crazy lives of this Gallagher family, and the show is insanely addicting. Like, once I got hooked into these character stories, it was really hard for me to stop watching it. Like, I just got obsessed with it, and my favorite characters have changed a lot from season to season. Amazing. The acting is so great, and I really love Emmy Rossum as Fiona. I think she does an incredible job every single season. And of course, Frank Gallagher is like definitely a highlight on this show, so it's fantastic. Next one is Stranger Things. I don't think I need to say too much about this because, like, if you haven't heard about Stranger Things, like, have you been living under a rock for the last few years? Like, I don't know, but Stranger Things is this amazing young sci-fi show that takes place in the 80s. It follows all these kids, and there's this girl named Eleven who has these, like, superhuman abilities. It's so good. I liked the second season just as much as I liked the first season. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It's funny. It has great writing, great plot twists, great acting from all the kids. It's just across the board 10 out of 10 amazing shit. If you haven't seen Stranger Things, like, what are you even doing? Like, go watch it now. The next one on my list is This Is Us. Very emotional drama that follows this family, and this show is really interesting because it shows the family when they're, like, older, like when the kids are older. Like, Mandy Moore is their mom, and it shows the kids growing up in, like, the 70s or the 80s, and then it shows the kids when they're, like, in their 30s. And I think it's just so interesting. Like, every episode it goes back and forth between their childhood and their adulthood, and just the way that this story is told, like, the writing in the show is so good. I literally cry every single episode, like, not even kidding, I cry every fucking episode. The way this story talks about adoption, like, in this TV show, it's just so beautiful and so important. The next one is Big Little Lies. It was actually based off the book Big Little Lies, directed by Jean-Marc, which is pretty freaking cool because he's directed a lot of awesome movies. Reese Witherspoon stars as the lead, and Nicole Kidman's in this one, Shailene Woodley, Zoe Kravitz. There's just an entire huge amazing cast. Thriller, weird mystery show that starts off with this murder. Somebody got murdered on the night of the school fundraiser, and you're just trying to figure out throughout the show what happened. It shows, like, the events leading up to it. It's so good. It's so addicting. It's shot beautifully. It's beautiful. My next one is Orange is the New Black. Again, I feel like I don't need to say too much about this one because it is a very extremely popular show, and just a show that follows these women that are in this prison. It's really addicting. It's really funny. It has a lot of drama. It's pretty controversial at times, but I love this show. I don't know what it is about this show that's so addicting, but, like, every time I watch it, I'm just like, I need more of it. Next show I want to mention is G.L.O.W. This is a women's wrestling TV show on Netflix. Alison Brie as the lead actress in the show is so good. It's a women's wrestling for reality TV show, so it's kind of hard to explain, but it takes place in the 80s. They're not actually wrestling, they're, like, choreographing wrestling for reality TV. All the characters are actresses. It's so amazing. Alison Brie is so good. I love when she does her, like, Russian accent. She's so adorable. I love this show. It's so, like, awesome for women empowerment. I love it. Next show is True Detective. It only has 2 seasons, but the 3rd season is currently in the works, supposedly. First season has Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Second season has Rachel McAdams and Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn. They're just these really intense, tragic, and, like, horrific detective stories about these cases, and I loved Matthew McConaughey's character in the first season. I thought he was definitely the highlight of that season, and I did think the first season of the show was a lot better than the second season, but still, this show is freaking amazing. The next one I want to mention is New Girl. It's just this really cute sitcom that takes place in Los Angeles. He becomes roommates with all the guys on the show in the first season. It's the cutest show. Like, honestly, like, Zooey Deschanel's character in this, Jessica Day, is one of the most relatable characters I've ever seen on a TV show. I love her to death. Schmidt is one of my favorite characters on television. Like, he's so funny. He makes me laugh so hard every single episode. Another show I wanted to mention is Jane the Virgin. I haven't caught up on the, like, last season and a half or so, but oh my god, I love this show. It's so cute. It's surprising, and the storytelling is so good in this. It kind of feels like it's like a Spanish soap opera kind of in the way that it's told, because it's narrated. There's, like, text written across the screen. It kind of, like, feels like you're reading a book when you watch the show because of the way it's, like, laid out. Just this whole show is so good. Like, Jane, the character Jane, is honestly one of the most relatable characters I've ever seen because she wants to be a writer, like, so desperately, and I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like, her love triangle going on with Michael and Raphael is just, like, the cutest. 10 out of 10. So cute, so well written, so good. And the last show that's kind of on my all-time favorites, but lately it's just been kind of, like, slacking, is The Walking Dead. I've been a huge fan of The Walking Dead for a couple of years now, but the last few seasons have just kind of disappointed me. This show is based based off the graphic novel series. It follows these people in a zombie apocalypse. I love Rick Grimes. He is one of my favorite characters on television. I loved the first 4 seasons so hard. I thought they were some of like the greatest television I've ever watched in my life. Like I was freaking hooked. Around somewhere between season 5 and season 6 it started slowing down, and now I haven't really watched it that much because I don't care anymore. I don't like a lot of the new characters and I just have lost interest, sadly. But this I think will still go down as one of my favorite shows of all time because of how obsessed I got with those first few seasons. Like it's so easy to get hooked on this show. It's just so entertaining. And lastly, I just wanted to mention 3 TV shows that I'm currently kind of watching, or that I just recently watched, and so I don't know if I'm considering them as some of my favorite shows of all time yet, but I'm currently watching Freaks and Geeks for the first time, and this is like a 90s show that was the start of James Franco and Seth Rogen, and just like there's so much amazing talent on this show. It's a lot of people's all-time favorites, but I'm just getting into it now. I just started watching it like a month ago. And the show Master of None, which is Aziz's show, just starting it too. I'm in the first season still, but I'm really loving it so far. It's a comedy. It's like perfect kind of comedy for me. I just really love that like dry sarcasm. It's freaking great. And then there's a show called The End of the Fucking World, which is a new Netflix original show. It just came out this month, but I binge watched the entire thing in one day. It's like really easy to do because it's only 8 episodes and they're like 20 minutes each. Oh my god, it was so good. And like the best way I know how to describe this show is it's like modern day Bonnie and Clyde, but they're both British, and the main character, James, he kind of reminds me of Dexter because he wants to kill her. Like the whole time he just he only gets close to her because he has the intention of killing her. It's so good. It's such a strange show, but the character arcs in this are like some of the best character arcs I've ever seen on television. Like they're just really, really good. And the directing is done really well. This show is just like really gorgeous and stunning to watch. Like every scene looks like it's just perfectly crafted and it's very good. I was so surprised by how much I love this show. So those are all of my favorite TV shows of all time for now. What are some of your all-time favorite TV shows? And if you have any recommendations for me, I mean, I have seen more TV shows, but they're just not on my all-time favorite list, so if you recommend me some below, I'll probably have seen some of them. As you can probably tell from this list, I'm not really huge into the teen shows. Like, I have seen 13 Reasons Why and Riverdale and The 100, and I'm not like that into them. I don't know why. I'm just like, they're just alright, but they're nothing that I'm like obsessed with, you know? Let me know what some of your all-time favorite TV shows are and we can talk about it, and yeah. And let me know if like a Netflix recommendations type of video is something that you'd want to see from me. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.